welcome to another video. Now, I got 1 hour of sleep last night. I got insomnia for no apparent reason. Like, could not sleep. I wasn't stressed out about anything. It was really windy, but that usually doesn't totally keep me awake. I don't know. I just could not sleep. So I am struggling and I'm on fumes today, and there's not enough coffee in the world. My son had therapy this morning and I was just struggling to even make it through that. Hey everybody, it's Kelsey. This is Essentially Booked. Thank you so much for stopping by my channel today. And today is going to be my March TBR video. And one, I've been doing a lot of TBR videos lately. And two, I said I wasn't going to be doing TBRs unless they were for like specific readathons or reading challenges. So this TBR is for a readathon. Realmathon is in March, and this is hosted by Covers with Cassidy. It's just a really fun readathon. And this year it's kind of based, last year there were like realms that went to battle for each other. This year it's going to be based on a school called the Judicium Academy. Judicium Academy. We kind of all get sorted into different houses. I have done some review and I am going to be in the realm of creation. These are students who learn creation mana. They're often individuals who believe strongly. They aren't afraid to stick up for what is right. That's very much me. I'm not afraid to express our emotions, and we like to primarily use our creation magic to create a sort of life essence out of the earth, etc. So some of our points are through these like specific tasks related to your house. And so those points can be, these bonus points can be gathered by reading books with blue covers with animals on the cover. So I pulled a TBR this month that is Book of the Month adjacent, and specifically all my blue Book of the Month covers. So those are one way you can get points. They also have prompts that are both positive and negative. And so a book can count for either a positive prompt or a negative prompt. And I think you can get up to like 5 points per book, but you have to pick either positive or negative. So there's prompts for each of these. So like the positive prompts give your school or realm points, and the negative ones take points away from another team. And so like some of these are stay up all night reading, read a buddy read, read a book in multiple formats, read a popcorn read, make a poll and let someone pick that winner, etc., etc. And then negative, sabotage a group project, 2+ authors, incriminate an enemy, author uses initials, lock someone out after curfew, a book with an isolated setting. So it's just a really fun way to kind of tackle your TBR. And again, I wanted to tackle my Book of the Month books this month, so that is what I'm doing. Okay. Excuse like this entire mess behind me. Like, holy moly. I need to, maybe you'll see some B-roll here of me organizing. I need to just resituate all of the things behind me. I've got Valentine's Day crafts over here from my kiddo. Okay, so like I said, this is our Realmathon TBR. We're gonna go through, this is my pile of possibilities. This is not even possible, especially knowing some of the things that I know about what I intend to actually do in March. I guess it's not really a surprise, but I'm currently reading, and it's consuming all of my life, everything by Sarah J. Maas, like rereading ACOTAR right now. And what a fun thing. I reread A Court of Mist and Fury in 2 days. Rereading it is so fun because you catch things that you wouldn't have caught your first time through, and it was just a blast. So I'm gonna finish up reading the ACOTAR series. So I will read A Court of Wings and Ruin, and then A Court of Silver Flame. And then we'll start the Crescent City read so that I can read the third one. So that likely will be most of my reading in March, if I'm being really, really honest. And then I have a few arcs that I would like to get to. One is Kilt Trip by Alexandra Kiley. This is a romance set in Scotland, and that's all that I know. And then Jaded, I've talked about this in prior videos, but this actually comes out, I think, in April. And so nope, it says March of 2024. Okay, so I will need to read this sooner than I was expecting. But this was blurbed as a comp to Queenie and Mame, which I loved both of those. And this is about an Asian woman from Korea. I think it's from Korea. And she's a lawyer. Something happens that kind of shatters her reality. And
adapts to it. And I loved Queenie and I loved Mame. And so anything that kind of looks at racism within the workplace, mental health rep, I love it. So this is a book that I was so kindly sent by Simon & Schuster, and I would love to get to it. Okay, and then I have a few library books that I would like to get to. You Don't Belong Here is a nonfiction book about women in Vietnam War, and it was comped as a good read if you love the women, which I loved the women. It's how 3 women rewrote the story of war, and it's about some female journalists who permanently shattered the barriers to women covering war. So I think I'm going to love that because I love books by journalists, and this is about journalists. And then I have a book by Kim Cross. This is a true crime book about the Polly Klaas case that happened in 1993 when I was 3 years old. I know very little about it, but this was a case that kind of took over the country, and I've heard nothing but fabulous things about this. And then the other library book is If We're Being Honest. I have this as an ARC. I actually got halfway through it last year and then put it down for whatever reason, but basically it's a Southern family drama. They find out that at their grandpa's funeral, he actually had a lover that was a man, and the Southern family goes like spiraling. So it just sounds really, really fun. All right, so the cool thing about Realmathon is you can really read as much as you want or as little as you want, and the prompts are really broad, so you don't have to read specifically fantasy books, which works for me because I have a lot of books that are not fantasy that I would like to get to this month. So I pulled all of my book of the month books from my shelf that are blue in the hopes of possibly getting to them this month. And so I have Things We Do in the Dark by Jennifer Hillier. I know she is a beloved thriller writer, but I have not read anything by her. That's actually why I grabbed this book of the month book. And it starts with when Paris Peralta is arrested in her own bathroom covered in blood, holding a straight razor, her celebrity husband dead in the bathtub beside her. She knows she'll be charged with murder. And then it's a thriller kind of figuring out what actually happened. I thought that sounded really fun. So I haven't seen the most positive of reviews about this, but it's a blue cover, and I would love to get to it at some point for my book of the month, read it down. And then I have A Woman Is No Man by Ataf Room. She is a Palestinian author that I have had this on my shelf forever. My mom loved this book. And so I am excited because I think educating yourself on the genocide in Palestine is really important. This is a work of fiction by a Palestinian author. And then in that light, I also have her newest release, Evil Eye, that I would like to read as well. This is a striking exploration of the world of a Palestinian American woman, the meaning of a fulfilling life, and the ways our unresolved past affects our present. I will likely walk into both of these fairly blind. And then I'm pulled like things with mostly blue covers. So Black Cake is one of my 24 and 24 books. I started this and then kind of set it down because Sarah J. Maas dominated my life. I would love to get this one for sure off my shelf this month. And I think this one's about like a family whose mother dies and they come back for like the funeral. Reckon with that is my understanding, but I've heard it's a really lovely book. And then probably a book that I've been intimidated by for far too long is Normal People by Sally Rooney. I know there's no quotes in this. I know Joe Alwyn stars as the main character in the Hulu adaptation, and that's about it. I know this is a pretty contentious book, so some people love it, some people hate it. Something tells me I'll probably love it, but now that I've said it out loud, I might hate it. I don't know. I just know it's about 2 friends from like childhood that grow up, and there's maybe a love story, but they have their own complex trauma. That's usually my kryptonite, and I love that, so we'll see. And then this is one of the first books I got, and it's The Philosopher's Flight by Tom Miller, and this is about a boy magician in a world in which only women are magicians, and I think it involves a school. Blue, so that's why I grabbed it. So there you go. Those are the book of the month ones. I do have a couple other like honorable mentions. From Illumicrate, I got Song of Silver Flame Like Night. I've heard this is really, really good, and the cover is beautiful. The Illumicrate edition of it is super beautiful. In a fallen kingdom, one girl carries the key to discovering the secrets of her nation's past and unleashing the demons that sleep at her heart. She once had a different name. Now she goes by the ones that Atlantean colonizers gave her. She spends her days scavenging for remnants of her past, for anything that might help her understand the strange mark burned into her arm by her mother in her last act before she died. No one can see this mark until the night Zen appears at the tea house and saves her life. Zen is a practitioner, one of the fabled magicians of the last kingdom whose abilities were rumored to be drawn from the demons they command with. Magic believed to be long lost, magic to be hidden at all costs. Both Lan and Zen have secrets buried deep, and yeah. And then finally, this is like my nonfiction reach, but there is a local book club that is reading books by Palestinian authors. And so the 100-year history of Palestine, or War on Palestine, to kind of understand that complex history. I did take a Politics of the Middle East class in my undergrad, and it was one of the most impactful classes I took, mainly in that it like de-Westernized my view of the Middle East, and it also was taught during the Arab Spring. That was like, it literally happened while I was in that class. So it really created a cool environment to deconstruct and decolonize my mindset. So this would be hard, like it'll be a hard read because it's nonfiction and probably really dense, but I've heard it's really, really excellent. And so that's probably the one I would like to really kind of focus on. And it'll be a slow but steady. I likely won't finish it this month, but I would just really like to focus on that. All right, real quick, just filming my outro for this video because I realized I didn't do that. But this is my March TBR. It's a pile of possibilities. There's no way I will read them all, but I just really like the idea of reading Book of the Month books that have blue covers to try to hit as many Realmathon prompts as possible. And of course, I'll be mood reading. We have a lot of travel coming up. I have a girls' trip. I'm going out on an anniversary trip with my husband coming up. Soccer starts. So it's a very busy season in our life, but I just think this is going to be a fun month of reading. So I'm so grateful for all of you. If you've made it all the way through and you're not a subscriber and you like what you're seeing, please subscribe. And if you've read any of these books and think I need to prioritize them, please let me know in the comments. And until the next video, everybody, I will see you later. Bye.